track one. Here we go. I've been arrested before, you can tell, and I got arrested for weed, and I remember when I got in front of the judge, he gave me some options, because I was white then, too. And, I mean, it's fucked up, but we all know how it works. And he literally said, your options are either a year of probation or jail. And I was like, how long's jail? And he was like, okay. And he like turned a page. I guess a lot of people don't pick that one. And he goes, since this is your first offense, you can either go to jail for 1 month or you can go to jail for 3 months, but you only go on the weekend. I did not know that was a thing you could do. I had no idea that some people are just doing all their jail all at once and some people are just kind of clocking in and out of there. That's insane. Like, how are you even going to explain that to people if you do that? You're just at work on Friday. They're like, hey, we're all going out after this. You want to come with? You're like, nah, I don't think I'm going to make it. I got to go to jail. They're like, jail? What, for like a long time? You're like, no, I'll be back Monday. I just got to clock in for my shift real quick. Down at jail. Plus, like, I don't know how much A&E you guys watch, but being in jail is all about alliances. Alliances are the most important part of jail. And nothing is going to ruin those jail alliances you made that first Friday. Faster than when that Sunday rolls around and it's time to get picked up. You've just been in there all weekend just playing spades with your new buddies. Then finally 6 p.m. on Sunday rolls up and you got to be like, well, my mom's here. I got to go. Yeah, no, I'm one of the people who gets to just go home. I'm sure you won't beat the shit out of me when I come back. Don't worry, I'll come back with all the stuff you want shoved up my ass or whatever. So I was just like, you know what? Probation will be fine, I think. Anybody here ever been on probation before? Yeah. My friends, hell yeah. Let's go, dude, represent. Probation sucks, because I was on probation in Georgia, and they used to have a show about being on probation in Georgia. It was called The Dukes of Hazzard. And my experience was nothing like that at all. There were no wacky, racist car chases with banjo music or anything like that. It was really just a lot of us sitting at the probation office making fun of Jerry Springer, as if we're not the people who would be on that show if given the opportunity. They always do something on Jerry Springer that really annoyed me, is they'll have like an exclamation followed by a description of what the episode is. And it's always way too much. Like it'll be like, oops, this 12-year-old can't stop sucking dick. You're like, oops? That is not an oops. I feel like that is a yikes. Or at the very least, it's an uh-oh. Being on probation sucks, though, because they drug test you, and you can't do the thing you got in trouble for. That is the worst part about it. And I remember one of my friends, I was like, dude, I can't smoke weed anymore. What am I going to do? Just, like, be alive? Fuck that shit. What do I do? And he's like, you should just try acid, because that only shows up on Spinal Taps, and they don't have those at the probation office. And I was like, yeah, that'll be the same. So I tried acid, and I had a doctor's appointment that day, and I went. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever had blood drawn when you're on LSD, but I do not recommend it. You feel all of that shit. The needle just goes in, and you just feel the life being sucked out of you. And the lady doing it had adult braces, and it was really freaking me out. It was too much, just with the acid and the braces. I couldn't handle it. She's like, I'm just gonna suck out some of the blood now. I'm like, oh my God. So I just look at the wall away from her and her scary braces, and I notice there's all this Christian shit on the wall, like crosses and stuff like that, like a lot of them. And at that point, I was like, I don't think I want a Christian doctor. I want you to know all of the science. Not just what they let you know. It's nothing against Christians either. It's just if you fuck up and I die, I don't want you being like, oh, he's in a better place. No. This is the better place, for sure. The whole time they're just like, I'll pray for you. I'm like, yeah, I think antibiotics will fix it, but whatever makes you feel better. I feel like antibiotics really are the thoughts and prayers of the medicine community, you know? People are so quick to offer them and they don't really work. That's basically what I'm saying. I don't want any of that, though. I just want an atheist doctor who just comes in there just chugging stem cells like it's a 5-hour energy. That seems like the kind of person I can trust. You don't have to awe. If you awed at that, you're going to really hate this. This is 100% true. At the end of that checkup, they ask you like a questionnaire, which is like pretty easy if you're not tripping your balls off on acid. But I was having some difficulty with it. And the last question that they ask you is, have you ever contemplated suicide? To which I responded, all the fucking time, yeah. That's like all I think about. And this lady was like, what? And have you ever had a moment where you realize how normal you aren't? That was that moment for me. I was like, I thought everybody wants to kill themselves. Have you never had a job before? That's all it is. Your coworker comes in, hey, how are you? You're like, I want to kill myself, blah. And then they laugh, and you both really mean it, though. I thought everybody did that shit. It's true, though. I was definitely feeling suicidal at one point, and I reached out to my roommate at the time. Let me preface this by saying, don't ask anybody named Devon for advice on anything mental health related. I'm going to just start with that. Great guy, not good advice in the moment. I was just like, dude, like, I don't know, man. I'm in a dark place. Like, I just want to do it, man. I just want to end this. And he just goes, you're not going to do it. Just like that. He goes, you're not going to do it. And I was like, what? Why? He goes, because you're a pussy, Will. Look, if you were going to do it, you would have did that shit already. So don't make me feel bad about some shit you and I both know you're not going to do. If you want to do it, just go do it. And it worked. And I was just thinking, of all the ways to talk your friend off a ledge, why the fuck would you go with reverse psychology? That seems so incredibly risky. He thinks I'm just gonna be in my room with a gun, like, that's it, I can't do it. No, this is exactly what Devon wants me to think. Fuck that. Gotta be right about everything. What I'm saying is, it's important to leave your hometown. Do you guys agree with me? Yeah. Even if it's not like very far or even for very long, you just gotta get out of there so you don't get stuck in the current of people who stay. Because even if it's not that bad, I still find a way to be depressed about it. Like what I'll always see on Facebook now, all the Woodstock people, it's always different people, but the same picture every time. It'll be a guy and girl that I went to high school with, and the girl looks super happy, and the guy just looks defeated. And the caption always says, so proud of my man for getting baptized today. And you can tell just from looking at the picture that this dude is on his very last strike with her. He's like, I don't know, dude. I tried giving her money. I ate her pussy more. Jesus, I guess, is what we're doing. He just has to reset the shot clock in the only way he knows how. It's just some goofy drug dealer looking dude with like a hot girl. It's like the only way he can do it. And it doesn't bother me that he's getting baptized. It just bothers me that you can tell they don't mean it. Because they never match as a couple, ever. The girl's always beautiful. She looks like she should be in like the second half of an allergy commercial. You know, where they peel the thing away and the colors are all bright again? She looks amazing. She looks like she should be on a wood swing in slow motion. That's what she looks like. The guy always looks terrible, though. He's always got like a neck tattoo, but then like a collared shirt over it to like show he's trying to put the past behind him, you know? They all just look like child stars that did not make it as adults. Just some beautiful girl and some guy that looks like things took a hard left after iCarly got canceled. Cherokee County was weird. I went to high school there, and I had this math teacher, and he looked and sounded exactly like a King of the Hill character. Like if Mike Judge drew a gopher with a UGA polo and khakis, that was this guy. The name of the class was called Advanced Mathematical Decision Making, which I feel like is how you know you're dumb. I have never made an advanced mathematical decision in my life that did not involve like weed or bitcoins or something stupid. Plus, I just feel like the more words the class you're in has, the dumber of a person you are. Like if you're in like English, American Lit, you're doing great. But if they put you in like Intro to the Construction of Language Sentences, you're probably a very stupid person. That's like one of those classes that has the two teachers in it, you know? Where you and your friends got to figure out which one of you has Asperger's, that class. But like, you're too dumb to realize the Asperger's people are smart and would not be in that class with you. They're building like a real space shuttle out of Bionicle pieces. And you're just in there being like, his Polo has 2 horses, what a bitch, dude. No wonder we're all stupid. High school was weird. I feel like high school movies always get something very wrong. They always act like cool people have the most sex. I don't think that's true. At my high school, like all the jocks, all the cool kids, they were all super religious, so they were not banging each other. The kids who were going hard were the band kids. Those godless band kids. Every time. Because like a jock's not gonna hook up with a cheerleader because he's scared God might tear his ACL or something. But meanwhile, that trombone player has been getting his dick sucked by the girl with the tail clipped onto her pants since like the 7th grade. But because they have blue hair and Reptar t-shirts, all of us as a whole school don't give them any credit. I hope they change that. Because I remember they would come into the cafeteria and be like, we had sex on the football field. And people are like, why are you telling us this? No, this is high school. We only care about hot people sex right now. You have your little Nightmare Before Christmas orgies somewhere else. You are scaring us. My school had a tail girl. I remember one day everybody was making fun of her, and I felt bad because I was doing it too. And I wanted people to like me, all right? I'm sorry. But we were making fun of her and her stupid fucking tail. And finally, she fired back. She was just like, you know what? You guys talk all this shit, but let me tell you something. None of you could handle me if you had me. And everybody laughed at her, but I just remembered thinking, I believe you. There's no way we could handle whatever it is you're putting down. Not a chance. Switch gears a little bit. Here's something I was thinking about. I think rich people should stop shopping at Goodwill. Rich people treat Goodwill like it's a party city, and that's weird. They're like, look at my regular people costume. It's insane. If you pull into a Goodwill and your car is the nicest car in the parking lot, just go to Target. What the fuck are you doing? I feel like the only people shopping there are like people who have to, and then college kids doing last-minute shopping for like a themed party that they're going to. I can just see it now in my head every time. It's just like 2 people reaching for the same pair of slip-resistant shoes. And the guy's like, can I get those? Those are for my second job. And some sorority girl's just like, no, I'm being SpongeBob later, sorry. Here, you can have these grass-stained pair of Air Force Ones, you piece of shit. Every Goodwill in America has a white, low-top pair of Air Force Ones with grass stains on them. And you see it, you're like, it's like $30. I bet I could get it out, but you can't. You know what else Goodwill always has? They always have VHS copies of movies that came out kinda recently. What's up with that? Like, you're looking through and some of them make sense, you know? You're like, oh, okay, let's see. Gremlins 2, The Sandlot, fucking Uncut Gems, what the fuck? This wasn't even on Blu-ray. I get mad. I'm like, there's like a sleeve for this that's laminated and says Sony on it. Where the fuck did this come from? I can't judge, though. I illegally download all my movies. I have a whole conspiracy. I think it's like A24's little hipster marketing thing that they're doing. They're like, we put our fucking credits in lowercase, and that's why we're selling video versions of it. Fucking A24. That's why I only pirate independent movies now, because I want them to feel what I'm taking from them. I want to make a difference, you know? All I'm saying is if I go home and I pirate the Avengers, that's not going to make a dent in their money. It won't. But all of us tonight could go home and shut Lady Bird the fuck down. I'm just saying we could. I'm not saying we should, but we could make that director a poor person now. We have that power. Do you guys illegally download movies? Yes. Fuck yeah. Thank you for being honest. This is recorded and you will go to jail, but... Those of you who didn't clap, like, are you morally opposed or do you just not know how? It's very easy. I'll explain. All you do is you just go to Google and then you type the word watch and then just follow it up with whatever movie you want, and then in 3 clicks it's yours. It is that easy. But you should only do it if you have a Mac. Only do it if you have a Mac, because iOS will protect you. That shit is like a condom for your computer. You stick it wherever the hell you want, and iOS has got you. If you have a Windows, you gotta be more careful. Windows is kind of like those lifestyle condoms that you get at the gas station, where it's just kind of like, well, you bought it. We'll see. You might get a virus and it somehow changes your Google Home thing over to Yahoo somehow. I feel like the Yahoo search engine is like the genital ward of the internet. Because it's just some unwanted purple shit that shows up, and it's easy to get rid of, but it's there because you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing. And you'll think about it next time. I was asking my buddy about it. I was like, are we gonna get in trouble for this? Because like everybody I know does this and no one's gone to jail. Like, is it coming? Like, what's gonna happen? And he's just like, no, dude, they're not after the people who are downloading it. They're after the people who upload it for everybody else to get for free. Which, like, I guess I'm glad they're doing that, but what a thankless crime. It'd be like getting a detention for doing someone's homework for them. Like, why would you do that? Now you're just in jail and everybody's just like, hey, what are you in here for? And you're like, I wanted everyone to see Marley and me. They're like, yeah, even the weekend people are gonna be kicking your fucking ass. That is a pussy-ass reason to be in here. Talk about this. Did you guys have to read The Outsiders when you were in school? I love The Outsiders. That shit's like Boys in the Hood for white people. That scene where they're like, Ricky! That's how we feel when Matt Dillon's like, we'll do it for Johnny, man. I feel that in my soul every time. The Outsiders is awesome. It's about the greasers versus the Socs in the 1960s. But looking back on the book, it has some corny moments. Like there's a part where in the beginning where they're describing the greasers and the Socs. And they're like, the Socs didn't get along with the greasers because the Socs liked the Beatles and we liked Elvis Presley. And I'm like, that is a dumb reason to get in frequent knife fights with another group of people. I'm like, oh, you like Fall Out Boy? I like Mumford & Sons, so I'm gonna stab you in the head and throw you in a fountain. They do, they stab Leif Garrett and throw him in a fountain in the movie version. And then they just go hang out in a church for like 3 weeks, cut their hair a little bit, and come home, and it's like fine, kind of. Like, was it that easy to get away with murder in the 1960s? You just bleach your hair and cut an inch off of it, and they're like, there you go, Slim Shady, they're not gonna catch you. Just get back in there. You're good, dude. But while they're staying in the church, that's where Ponyboy discovers Robert Frost. That's where the whole Stay Gold part of the story comes from. But there was this one part of the book that always bothered me, where Ponyboy is talking to a friend of the Socs that they killed, and they're sitting in the car together, and he's just like, it's pretty messed up what happened to your friend, huh? And the guy's like, yeah. And then Ponyboy's like, do you guys have sunsets on your side of town? And the guy's like, yeah. I guess I never really thought about it like that. And then things kind of mellow out after that. And that never made sense to me until I found out that book was written by a 16-year-old girl. And then I was like, oh, I get it now. It's nothing against her. S.E. Hinton is a great writer. It's just, that would be like if I wrote The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And just halfway through the book, they just took the pants off and started fucking each other. You're just reading it like, well, that really came out of nowhere. Is this what he thinks girls do? That's the book. They teach it to you, I guess, to like teach men about toxic masculinity or something, but all it did was get me addicted to cigarettes. I was like, I bet if I smoke, I'll be like Ponyboy. And now I've been addicted to them for 14 years. Did you awe at that? No awing either, especially no awing. You do know I'm choosing to say all this stuff, right? It's not like, oh no, I let him know, oh no. It's okay. So I'm in therapy. No, it's true. I've been going to therapy because I think things like what I've been saying for the past 30 minutes. And here's the thing, though. So my therapist is a black woman, and I started going to her in July of 2020. Do we remember what was going on? Just boy of all the times to be white and have to tell a black person about your problems. Jesus Christ. What could I say to her? I just go in, I'm like, yeah, I had to go to jail on the weekend. I'm sorry, this isn't a real problem. I'm realizing it now as I'm saying it and looking at your face. You seem upset. There were multiple times she'd be in there and she'd be like, and then say something. But she tried. She was very good at her job. And she's just like, well, it's all relative, Will. And if we don't talk about these things, we're never going to get to the root of the issue. And I'm like, that's true, but Facebook says it's my time to listen. So if there's anything you'd like to talk about, I'm here for you, sis. And she's like, yeah, don't say sis. That's lesson number 1. I'm like, you're right. Facebook also says it's not your job to educate us. She's like, maybe no more Facebook. How about that? Anyway, speaking of black women trying to help me and me not listening, I was in an interracial relationship for a while, and it was my first, her last, definitely. Definitely her last. I'm gonna tell you guys something. It's a lot of white people in here, and I'm gonna tell you something, and it's important that we all be honest with ourselves while I talk about this. When we started dating, we were very disappointed with the lack of obstacles we faced initially. You can feel weird about it, but I believe that inside of every white person, they want to have that little civil rights movie Oscar moment or whatever the fuck. Like, I kind of thought that at least once we would be outside of like a sketchy looking gas station or something, and she'd be like, I don't know if I should go in there with you, and I'd be like, no, I want them to see. I would never ever want her to be in danger. I just wanted to have that moment for my white little self, and I never got it. It was cool though. I mean, dude, I'm just a white dude from Woodstock. I'm a fucking idiot. I learned a lot of things. I remember one time she goes, you know, Will, if we have a kid together, even though it's half you and half me, our kid will be looked at as black in America. Is that something you think you can handle? And I was like, yeah, my kid will be able to say the N-word. That's amazing. We all want the next generation to have what we couldn't provide for ourselves. That is the American dream. I told her that. She was like, that is not what I meant. I'm like, it's too late. I'm thinking about this now. That would be the first Foskey allowed to say the N-word. Allowed. Not the first to say it. I know my family pretty well. But I feel like if there was like a chart of like Foskey family N-word usage over the years, it would probably start very high in the 1890s when they got here from Ireland, slowly work its way down to zero around the 70s and 80s. Small spike in 2008, the Carter III, and then back down until that kid's in middle school. That wasn't even our biggest argument. I remember one time she came up to me and she said she thought the Beatles were overrated. And that should not be a big argument. But you can probably tell from looking at me, I have some opinions about the Beatles. I do. Because her favorite artist is Beyonce. Well, first of all, it's pointless to even argue about this, because when you have a white dude defending the Beatles versus a black woman defending Beyonce, you get a little bit of like an Israel versus Palestine situation. It's never getting resolved anytime soon. And one of them's clearly wrong and not admitting it. But do with that information what you will. And here's the thing, this is why it was pissing me off. It's just Beyonce's very talented, but to think she cares about you, like at a certain point, we have to admit that Beyonce is just Jeff Bezos with thighs. That is who she is. She does not care about you. Anytime you ever spend $500 to be 1,000 feet away from her, that money is going right into her space shuttle fund to blast off from all of us when the world explodes. She's just in the cockpit with Jay-Z like, yeah, I told them they're hot even if they're not. All right, blast off. And you're just down there on fire like, slay, and she's taken away. I'm burning for you, I love you. It's not even really Beyonce that I'm mad at. I just don't like that her adult fans enjoy her the way that children enjoy like Blue's Clues or Dora the Explorer. Like, I walked into my 27-year-old girlfriend who has a college degree, sitting crisscross applesauce in front of a propped-up iPad, watching Baychella on Netflix. And Beyonce's just like, ladies, do we run the world? And she's like, yes! How is that different from Swipe or No Swiping? She was drinking an Angry Orchard. It might as well have been a fucking Juicy Juice. Just with some goldfish on a folded over napkin to complete the picture. Anyways, I'm single now and it's weird. It didn't work out. I don't know what happened. Maybe the chart. Maybe I shouldn't have brought up the chart. It's weird being single now. I hit on a girl in real life recently. Did you know you could still do that? You don't have to like fire emoji react their stupid Instagram story or anything like that. You can just go talk to them. You shouldn't, but you can. I feel like I kind of even knew that then, but I was like, no, I'm special. She'll appreciate it. I walked up to this girl. I was like, hey, I think you're really cute. I was wondering if I could get your number. And she's like, oh, I'm actually a little polysaturated, so that's not going to work. And what that means is that she's polyamorous, so she has multiple partners, but she is at capacity for me. She has just reached maximum occupancy down there, and it would be a code violation to let me in. My dick's just a fire hazard for her at this point. Polysaturated. That was a new no. I can handle rejection, but when you get a remix of it, it really stings. I'm like, I don't even know how to react to this. Because here's the thing, if you're polyamorous, that's great. Go have your hot girl summer, that's amazing. But don't make you banging a bunch of people sound like science. That's what I didn't like. Because polysaturated, that doesn't sound like a lifestyle. That just sounds like the ingredient that makes gummy worms bad for you. They're like, oh, you gotta go to Trader Joe's. The Kroger ones have got a lot of polysaturated fats. You gotta be careful. That's where that word goes. Not hurting my feelings. It just sounded like she'd had too much to eat of fucking. I think at the core, that's what really bothered me about it. And now I'm just like the world's most pathetic waiter, just coming up being like, and for dessert, could I offer you my penis? And she's just like, oh no, I could not. I am polysaturated. I have no room left. Maybe if I burp really loud, I could work in a hand job, but probably not. Try to do the dating apps, those suck. I found out recently Hinge added a thing where you can like tell what the other person sounds like. I feel like that's a good idea. Because these girls, they have every right to know about my stupid AM radio voice. My fucking Adam West on Quaaludes way of talking. They have a right to know about that. And I have a right to know how they're gonna sound. I remember one time I went on a date with this girl way out of my league, and when I saw her, she looked just like her pictures. I was like, how is this possible? I introduced myself, I was like, hi, I'm Will. She's like, oh, hey, what's up, man? I was like, oh, there it is right there. Yeah, you talk like an idiot. This makes sense now. Now this makes sense. She was cute. I wanted to finish the date. We're sitting there. I'm just like, well, tell me about yourself. She's like, well, I used to fuck with Xanax pretty heavy, but then my brother's guy stopped getting them, so, you know, they're all fake as fuck. If you heard the audio of that date only, you would think it was like an NPR interview about the opioid crisis. Just like her describing an addiction and me being all, oh, yes, I understand. This is a weird story. When I was a kid, my mom was an author, and she wrote a lot of books about islands off the coast of Georgia, and there was one called Ossabaw Island, and the only woman who lived there when I was a kid was in her late 90s, and she lived in this big-ass mansion that had all this crazy shit. She was like friends with Gerald Ford and like Calvin Coolidge and Jimmy Carter, all this weird shit. I remember I went back when I was 18, and I was really excited to meet this lady because it was her 100th birthday. I just go up like, congratulations, 100 years old, that's awesome. And then she just pulls me in really close, and she just goes, well, why don't you come upstairs and I'll show you what a real 100-year-old woman can do. I was like, what the fuck? And she was like, don't be afraid, Jimmy, which is not my name. I was like, Jimmy, what is she talking about? And then her like wheelchair pusher lady was like, oh, she wants to have sex with you because she thinks that you're Jimmy Stewart. They used to be friends. You know the guy from It's a Wonderful Life? The guy, that dude, the fucking little bitch of the 30s? I get why she thought I was him. I feel like I could have finessed that one pretty easy. Because I don't know a lot about Jimmy Stewart, but she has dementia and I have Wikipedia. But I don't know how long I could keep that up, because I would just know facts about him and she knew him for real. So we'd be like holding hands or whatever, and she'd just be like, Jimmy, do you remember that day we kissed at the World's Fair? And I'd just be like, in 1940, I won an Academy Award. Come on, it's Christmas, have sex with me now. Or whatever he would say. It wouldn't work. To this day, not doing that might be my biggest regret in life. But if she's still alive and given the opportunity, I'll totally do it. That's a promise I'm making to you right now. I'd get to be like Eskimo Brothers with Calvin Coolidge. That dude was born in like 18-something. That would be amazing. There's a very small window for that, and it's closing soon. She didn't look very good, though, I gotta be honest. Even for being 100. Like, this woman just looked like a pile of oatmeal. Just a steaming pile of oatmeal with just brown sugar spots and blueberry eyes spilling all over the place. But I still want to do it because that would be like getting to have sex with a piece of history. It'd be like getting to fuck the crack in the Liberty Bell. In terms of like historical context and also how it would probably feel. Because of her old rusty vagina. Just in case we weren't clear. Old rusty vagina sounds like if they did an all-girl Wu-Tang Clan, that would be one of them. Shimmy, shimmy, yo. Did anybody here know a drug dealer growing up? Like somebody who sold like a lot of weed. Yeah. I had a friend like that. And isn't it funny that when they stop, they like can't help but still be drug dealers? With like whatever new weird business they're doing. I remember my buddy, it got way out of control, and we just stopped going over to his house. Then finally he called me. He's like, I'm not selling weed anymore, dog. Come over. And I get to his house, and I'm like, well, what's this? And he's looking at some shit on his TV screen that he uses as a computer in his Darth Vader lair that he's built for himself. This dude really was like the trap lord of the suburbs. Among other nicknames he gave himself. Big Money Chamberlain, all the different ones. But he's showing me on this TV screen this stuff called Lepin. Do any of you know what that is? Lepin is knockoff Chinese Legos. Not like Mega Bloks. It's real Legos, but just the box has Chinese shit on it and all the English stuff is misspelled. And I guess his plan was he was gonna just sell all these to like the other criminals' kids on Christmas or something. I'm like, dude, just go back to selling weed. What are you doing? You'll make more money, and if you're doing this for like moral reasons or whatever, I guarantee you the cartels are not as bad as whatever's happening at the Lepin factory. Not a chance. Working for El Chapo probably feels like being a Costco member compared to whatever's going on there. Lepin. Everything's misspelled. Like he was about to buy these Millennium Falcons, like the Star Wars ones, but the A was an N, so if you look really close, it just says Star Winners. And I looked it up the other day to make sure I didn't like dream that or something. And it turns out that there was a bust at the Lepin factory. They shut it down. It turns out it is very illegal to sell someone else's product with your name on it. Who would have fucking thought? But I just picture when that bust happened, the FBI or whoever comes in, and you know how like in movies they'll do a little bit of the coke to see if it's good? Do you think they came in with one of the little red 2x4 pieces or something? They just grab one off the ground and they're like, it's cut with Mega Bloks. We're shutting this shit down. This is 100% true. So we've established that there's Star Winners, right? They also had a frozen brand Lepin as well. Do you know what it was called? Ice Queers 2. That is funnier than anything I'll ever write. They called it Ice Queers 2. Maybe they meant Ice Queens? Are there two Frozens? Maybe they were like, well, no, it's queer-coded, and they were trying to say that because of the blogs, and I'm like, you didn't read the blogs, Lepin. No, you didn't. Ice Queers, too. That's what I'm going to call my album. Just kidding, label people. We'll call it something that'll make you money. Don't worry. Hell yeah. I grew up Catholic, so I grew up really sad. That's something about me. Catholic Mass has to be the most depressing way you could ever spend an hour of your life. It's just some dude up there with a monotone voice just droning on and on and on. It's a lot like my stand-up, honestly, but that's how I was raised. But part of me kind of thinks church should be a shameful experience. I've always kind of thought that. Like growing up in the South, I've always felt that unless you're black, you should not be having fun at church. That just seems fair to me. They can do whatever they want to do with their Sunday. Sing songs, dance, do whatever the fuck. The rest of us got to go to that stained glass building while some pedophile yawns prayers at us. It just feels like a fair trade to me. Growing up in Cherokee County, all my friends went to these like non-denominational churches where people are like smiling and singing Weezer covers and shit. I'm like, I think God would be less upset if we were sacrificing a goat with like a rusty knife than this dude with white people dreads singing My Name is Jonah on a nylon string guitar. He's like, I changed it from Jonas to Jonah, so we're good with the guy upstairs. I'm Irish Catholic. Odds are if you grew up Catholic, you're probably either Irish, Hispanic, or Italian. And I feel like Irish Catholic is definitely the worst of the three. Because it's just like bad skin and judgmental aunts, and then you die when you're like 54. That's what our culture is. Then like Hispanic Catholics, I'm jealous. They seem like they're having a great time. It's all just like skeletons and candles. It looks like Here. It's all just like that fucking Pixar movie. I'm very jealous of the good time they're having. But then I feel like we can all agree Italian Catholics have it the easiest. Because they can like murder people, but it's fine because they love their grandma. I never understood that. You can like shoot somebody, and as long as you're just like, she was a good lady, you're fine, I guess. At least according to the HBO that I watch. I don't know if they got the communion, you know, the body and blood of Christ, the wine and the shit they make the kids ice cream cones out of, you know. The communion wine is especially stressful because whenever you come up, the priest has it in a chalice there, and you walk up and you drink out of it with your dirty, filthy mouth. Then the priest takes it and rotates it like a centimeter and just kind of wipes it off with his sleeve, and the next person drinks out of it. And I'm just sitting there like, there is like 150 people in this parish, and 1 in 4 people have herpes. There should just be 2 lines. I mean, look, I don't believe in any of that shit. All I'm saying is, if you go up to drink the blood of our Lord and Savior, you shouldn't have to be like, can I waterfall that, please? Like it's your friend's Powerade after a baseball practice. That feels very disrespectful. All Catholics are alcoholics. That is a true stereotype. And I think I know why. I think I know what incubates it. It has to be confession. That has to be where it starts. Because like other kinds of Christians, when it comes to saying sorry to God, you have a pretty open door policy. You can just be like, I'm sorry, and he's like, it's okay, I love you, or whatever he tells you. We can't just go right up to corporate like that. We gotta go through HR and file a claim in some creepy box with some dude who they tell you does not have a great reputation with kids. I remember when I started going to confession, my parents were like, when you get in there, you tell them everything, goddammit. And I'm like, all right. So now I'm just in there like, well, I lie to my parents sometimes, and like I've masturbated before, and they're on the other side like, yeah, everybody lies. What was that other thing that you said? No, I talked to God. He said it's fine. Just, what was that other thing though? Take as long as you want. Of course we're all gonna become alcoholics after that. I went back to confession as an adult just to see if it was as fucked up as I remember. I just went to this random Catholic church nearby where I live, and I went up to the front desk and I like ordered a confession. I don't know what you call it. I'm like, 1 confession, hold the me getting molested. All right, cool. And when they brought the priest out, like, I hope this makes sense. Every Catholic priest looks like one of the white people from Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's either like a fat Drew Carey one or like a rosy-cheeked bald one. Every now and then you get like a snarky one with glasses or something. This guy didn't look like any of those people. He kind of looked like Benicio del Toro, and his collar was askew, and he smelled like Newport cigarettes. Which I feel like should have made me not trust him, but it made me trust him so much more. I was like, I think Cigarette Priest is gonna understand my problems. So we go to do the confession, and we didn't do it in the booth that had the partition up and all that. We just did this in this guy's office. Did you know priests had those? It was like a modern office. It felt like I was at a job interview for hell. They're like, you meet all of our qualifications. I'm like, yeah, I know. It was awful. I'm just in there confessing all my sins. I'm like, dude, can you at least like duck behind your laptop or something so we can have like an air of privacy here? It's just me confessing all my sins to him. He's just playing Spider Solitaire like, damn, dude, that's crazy. I don't know. Do you know how to illegally download movies? Shut up. You're supposed to be helping me. It did not feel like a religious experience at all. His desk had like a Rubik's Cube and pictures of him skydiving on it. I'm like, what are you, a priest on the side? What is this? Skydiving is expensive and you have a vow of poverty. None of this makes any sense. When I'm done confessing, is he going to be like, all right, that'll be 10 rosaries, or I'll knock it down to 5 if you buy these all-natural energy drinks? I'm like, God told you to do that? He's like, no, I owe money to the Italians. They'll kill me, and it's okay because they love their grandma. I'm like, that is true. I went to Catholic school, too. You can just tell that's going to be a miserable experience just from the names alone. The Catholic schools sound like something your mom would yell if she stubbed her toe. They're like, where did you go to school? You're like, oh, me? I went to For the Love of All Things Sacred. Oh, really? I went to Mary, Mother of God. Really good basketball program there. I come from this big-ass Catholic family, and we get together a lot. And the elders have implemented this weird system where they put the older cousins in charge of watching the younger cousins so that they can all get blackout drunk with each other. Terrible system. I remember one time when I was in high school, I was watching my little cousins, and I was playing music for them, and the song Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe came on. You guys know that song? Great song. That girl is poison. I thought it was fine to play for kids. You hear it in Target and shit like that. But what I forgot is at the end of the second verse, there's a part where Ronnie DeVoe says, me and the crew used to do her. And they heard that, and their eyes just lit up. They were like, Will, what does that mean? So I just told them. I was drunk, too. Have you ever had a moment like that where you're like, I wonder what'll happen if I just do this? Let's just see what happens. I was like, well, that means Ronnie, Ricky, and Mike all ran a train on this girl, and that's why she's poisoned now. All right, run along. They were so excited about it. Their dad was not hyped about it at all. Their dad came up to me and he did my favorite thing, where somebody's mad, but they're like smiling, though. He just comes up and he's like, hey man, got a question for you. That's the craziest thing. Do you mind telling me why the fuck my kids are asking me what a gangbang is? That's so weird. And I'm like, that is weird, because we just covered that. I can't do all the parenting for you. I have a dent in the middle of my chest. I'm one of those people. Everybody knew a dent guy growing up. I was the dent guy. The medical term for that is pectus excavatum, which roughly translates to years and years of insecurity about being shirtless in public. Yeah, feel bad during that part. No. I used to be like really embarrassed about it, but now I'm kind of proud of it. Like whenever I'm at the grocery stores, I always buy the dented soup cans. That's my way of taking the power back. Even if it's a soup I don't like, I'll walk up and I'll be like, fuck yeah, you're coming with me. And I bring it to the front and they're like, oh, this will be half off actually. I'm like, I'll pay full price, thank you. I'll be paying full price. I do the smiling thing. I'll pay full price, thank you very much. Because these are worth just as much as the other kids. Cans. I didn't say kids. I did not just say kids. I gained some confidence in it when I was in high school, thanks to body shots. Yeah, I was like, well, I'm pretty much built for this. Let's run it. I was so excited. You know how it is when people drink out of you, right? I love how I'm saying this like it's relatable. You know how when people drink out of the weird indent in your body? I was excited. I was like, this might be like a cool way to meet girls. It might be awesome. But you kind of, in reality, you just become furniture for the rest of the party. I'm just laying on a coffee table with my shirt off, looking at the radio, being like, what's up, dude? Girls would like walk up and drink out of me. It sounds so weird to say, but they would. They'd just be like, thanks. I'm like, yeah, you're pretty cute. You want to maybe hang out after this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, you just like me as a friend? And they're like, no, we like you more as a cup. And then they would rotate me a centimeter and wipe me off with their sleeve. And the next part was Catholic school. That's how it works. So I got to travel a lot to get ready for this, and I had the pleasure of being in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Have any of you ever been there before? Yeah. Perfect. I cannot wait to shit on Philadelphia in front of you guys. No, I love it. It's my favorite place to do stand-up, but besides here, by far. Because the whole city of Philadelphia, it's just a bunch of Italians that talk like Bam Margera, beating the shit out of each other all day, every day. It's hilarious. I have a friend who lives up there and sells solar panels, so whenever I go visit him, we just hang out with him and his Guido buddies, and they're just the most insane people that I've ever met in my life. First dude I meet, we go up to his house, and he has a Blue Lives Matter sticker on the back of his Tesla, and I don't fucking like that shit. And my friend's like, dude, just don't say anything about it, but I couldn't help it. I tried to give him an out, too. I was like, what, was your dad a cop or something? And then he just goes, oh, dude, that ain't nothing political. I just got that to impress this lady cop I was banging. And I was like, I think I like you now. That's kind of badass, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe a magnet. Also, on the Tesla, that's like having a coexist sticker on the back of your Hummer. You're like, why do you think that? Sometimes when you do stand-up, people will come up and be like, you should do this in your stand-up, and it always sucks, but one of the Guidos had something that was too good, so I gotta tell you about it. He just comes up, he was one of those guys, I don't know if you've met people like this, where they talk so much, they start inhaling air back in while they're still talking to dip into the reserves. I'll try to do it while I'm telling the story, but he just comes up to me and he's like, yo, bro, I got something for your fucking comedy shit, dude. I was at a fucking party one time, bro. And there was this fucking guy, and he had a fucking pentagram on his forehead, dude. And I was like, okay, then what? He's like, I beat the fuck out of him, dude. And I was like, oh my God, why? And then he pulls out a rosary and he goes, because he's the opposite of me, dude. And I'm like, it was that dumb in your brain? You just saw star, cross, opposite, destroy, like he's the Terminator or something? Then his eyes just lit up. He was like, oh yeah, bro, 3 years later, I'm at Lollapalooza. I see this motherfucker again, dude. And I'm just like, uh-huh, and then what? He's like, I beat the fuck out of him there too, dude. And again, it should make me hate this person, but it doesn't. Because in this guy's Philadelphia brain, he thinks he's protecting the world from evil. That's what he thinks he's doing. He thinks that he's standing up for God, when really he's just beating up some nerd who plays Dungeons and Dragons. But then I'm just like, dude, who do you think God is? Like, do you think you're gonna get to heaven and it's just gonna be some bro in an Eagles jersey? He's just up there like, yo, dude, I appreciate you beating that guy's ass for talking shit about me, bro. When I put him at Lollapalooza, I was fucking testing you. Oh yeah, dude, he was all down there being like, look at me, dude, I'm the fucking opposite of God. And you punched him right in his shit. Get in, dude, Gritty's up here. Good night, everybody.